Hello, and welcome to Investable Realty's monthly web series. My name is Budhwani, and I'll be your host. Today, we're going to have our first guest. His name is Tim Herriage. Tim Herriage is the founder and CEO of 2020 REI Companies. In his career, Tim has bought and sold over 1,200 homes, and recently, Tim launched a brand new brokerage named Investable Realty. So, Tim, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Sol.
Tim, I wanted to bring you onto the show just to kind of, get your industry viewpoints. You obviously are an experienced investor. Been in the industry over 10 years and have started many successful companies. I believe you've told me before your wife calls you a serial entrepreneur.
Yep.
And someone that cannot just sit in one place for too long because you like starting new things.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, my wife, Jennifer, she says that I'm the only person she knows that could work 20 hours a week, make $500,000 a year, and refuses to do so. I like starting businesses and working with people, specifically investors.
Well, great. Well, Tim, I wanted to bring you on board just to, share to our new investors what they should look for in investments and what they should, how they should build their team. But before I get to that, the first question I wanted to ask you was, Tim, why did you feel it was so important to start Investable Realty?
So, 2020 REI is really a real estate investor products and services company. Because when I look back at my 14-year career, I've learned that what I do the best is help investors. And I think some of that comes from starting out in this industry after the Marine Corps with no experience, no guidance, no money. I had credit, but it was bad credit. And I had some really nice people take me under their wing and teach me the business. And, for too long, if you wanted to get into the real estate investment business, the only choice you have is to call a guru or watch late night TV with this guy on a yacht with a bunch of chicks in bikinis. And I don't know about your wife, but my wife would not be happy if I was in that kind of real estate business. And that's just the only option. Because if you call a traditional realtor or real estate agency, they typically, if you say, let me speak to your investment representative, you're probably going to get dead air and they may even hang up on you. Or you may have to find the one agent there that's kind of like the black sheep that actually gets real estate. So we formed Investable Realty to give quality representation to investors, but also we want to treat new investors even like a first-time home buyer. The first thing you do if you want to buy a house is you call a real estate agent. That real estate agent hooks you up with their preferred lender, and it's like this virtuous cycle that is the reason that the National Association of Realtors is the largest trade association in the world, right?
That's true.
And so we wanted to create that experience for the individual investor as well.
Great. Well, if I was a new investor, Tim, what advice would you give me?
Yeah, I think it always comes down to goals. And people say, "Oh, I want to buy real estate," and it's like, okay, well that's cute. Why? And people sometimes hate talking to me about things because I'll ask the question why about 15 times until I finally get to the answer. So most of the time people want to buy real estate or want to be an investor, a lot of times, frankly, for the wrong reasons. They've seen it on TV that you can make $10,000 in 10 minutes with no money, no effort, no credit, no work. And it's just like, well, okay, well then why would the guy be willing to talk to you about that on the stage? Because I'm not great at math, but there's 6 10-minute periods in an hour, and that would be $60,000 an hour. And I mean, come on, right? I wouldn't be teaching you how to do that if it existed.
Sure.
So a lot of times people come in with the wrong expectations. But the next question would be, are you looking for income or growth? Because real estate investing is an investment, and it's just like a stock. If you went and spoke to a stock advisor, the first thing they'd say is, why? What are you looking for? Income or growth? And because that's going to really help me tell you what you should do. Should you attempt to wholesale? Should you fix and flip? Should you buy rental property? Should you invest in a private placement memorandum? Really and truly, the goals and the reasons are so important before we can even have a conversation about what I would tell you to do the first time.
Fair enough. What is the worst mistake a new investor can make? And I know that's a hard question to answer, but in your opinion, what do you think is the worst mistake?
Well, so there's a couple different mistakes people can make, and the first one that comes to mind is you can buy a house with a dead body in the backyard. As you know, I have a friend that is dealing with that right now.
Sure.
He came in to you for help recently. But now, all kidding aside, I think the worst mistake is either trying to take a shortcut or holding out on every participating in a transaction until you quote unquote find the shortcut or the home run deal, because there's an opportunity cost of time, and time is money. And if you buy the wrong house and you only make $1,000, I promise you that $1,000 is worth so much more. Number one, if it comes in the first 4 months, like you're revenue positive. But number two, you're going to learn so much getting to that 1,000. You almost double your chances of being successful on the next one. So I think the biggest mistake that would-be real estate investors make is hesitancy. They hesitate. They pause. They don't get. They want to second guess and game plan for every possible situation, and you just can't do that. The next biggest mistake would be trying to go it alone. I see people all the time that don't have a good team. They don't have someone that represents them, like an Investable Realty agent. They don't have a hard money lender or a bank that has experience and some underwriting guidelines that actually can keep you from making a mistake. They don't have a good contractor. They don't have a good title agent. There's a whole. This is such an individual sport, so to speak, that is dependent upon your team around you. And the last mistake would be paying more in education and training that doesn't have a home that comes along with it than you could possibly lose on your first home. And if I really boiled it all down, that's the single biggest mistake people make in this business, is giving someone $10, $15, $20, $30,000 when it doesn't come with a house or income from a house. I think that's the biggest mistake.
Fair enough. Now, a lot of people are saying currently this is a bubble, and that this bubble is about to burst. Texas, and DFW specifically, has never seen year-over-year growth like it has in the last 3 to 5 years. Where do you see the market going here?
Well, so it's really misleading, because the pundits and the commentators that say we've never seen this type of growth, what they do is they take the entire Dallas-Fort Worth median metropolitan statistical area, and they use that 2.3 to 3% appreciation, and then they go take the submarket of Plano, Addison, Irving, and look at that 10% and say, oh my gosh, it's a misaligned bubble, right? It's like, if you add back in all the sectors of Southern Dallas and Fort Worth and Central Dallas and Eastern Dallas, and really if you don't just look at the hot areas that have exponential job growth right now, it's really not that out of line from where we've been in the past, number one. And number two, we're still not anywhere near where I think the Metroplex should be here in Dallas-Fort Worth. And the underlying fundamentals of the reason for the growth, I think, are so solid that it is bubble resistant. So you don't see a lot of speculation, right? So you don't see people buying a house, and you don't see a lot of bad debt. In most real estate bubbles, if you look at it, there's some underlying debt there that back in 06, 07, the stated income, where all you had to do was fog a mirror and you could get 100% financing. I saw people that would put a $500 earnest money check down for a house in 06, and they would get $460 back at closing, and it's like, oh wow, doesn't seem like a good idea to have someone commit to pay you back a couple of hundred G's for $40, right? I mean, it's just kind of misaligned, and you don't see that right now. I mean, nationwide, and in Dallas specifically, you're seeing a lot of 20%, 30% down. You're seeing a lot of cash transactions, and those properties end up being really bubble resistant, because if you say I'm buying this house that could be 10% overvalued, but I put 20% down, even if that 10% corrects, I still have enough equity to where I can sell the home. And so that's where bubbles come from, is when people get underwater. And I think the fact that we don't have a bunch of crazy financing in the market right now, it really leads me to believe that even if it is aggressively appreciating, there's room to come down without popping a bubble, so to speak.
Fair enough. Well, Tim, just wanted to thank you for your time. We are fortunate enough I work for Investable Realty, got to meet Tim about a year ago, and it's been a great ride so far, but the great thing is that the ride is just starting. So we're very excited to bring this brokerage to you and bring this monthly web series to you as well, and we'll continue to help you grow and get you some financial flexibility. Once again, this is Budhwani thanking you for joining us at Investable Realty.